Hey, football fans, welcome back to another episode of Lions Latest, the show where we talk about the greatest team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. I'm your host, Bryan Hanes, and we have a great list of topics to get into, so let's just jump straight into the video. Starting off, we're talking about Alex Anzalone and a possible contract extension for him. He was missing from the mini camps and possibly debating whether or not he was going to start looking elsewhere or if this is where he wanted to stay. He has not openly come out and said he wants to stay in Detroit, but after production in the last few years and, Detroit being a Super Bowl contender, I can't see him really wanting to leave all that bad, right? So let's go into it real quick. He's entering his final year of his current contract, and while he's been a valuable player, the team needs to consider one, his age. He's 31, and the potential decline with negotiating a new deal. So, you get to a certain age and then it starts to go down, especially for those really physical positions like linebacker. But he's really shown no sign of slowing down. It's mostly just been him ramping up since he's gotten to the Lions. He signed a 3-year deal back in 2023 for 18.3 million, and given his performance and leadership, the Lions are probably interested in extending his contract. So possible contract extensions, a 2-year extension potentially worth around 15 mil, 9 mil guaranteed, is going to be better than his first one. Show him that we're giving him a little more, right? The 18.3 mil was over the course of, a few more, about the same time, but we're giving him some more guaranteed. And with his age too, we're not necessarily going to bump him this huge amount, right? It's been suggested that that's a reasonable compromise according to some of the officials in the Detroit office. And Anzalone has been a consistent, impactful player for us. The Lions have shown that he is a stable linebacker in his position. He's able to get a lot done with what he does. And the team, especially being a Super Bowl contender, like we said, would like to continue having him in the system he already knows. He's been really good with us, right? He started off like not super, super hot, but he ended up ramping up a lot. So his last year on the Saints, he had 41 combined tackles with 19 assists. He had 0 sacks, 0 interceptions, and then he gets to the Lions in 2021, 78 combined tackles, 29 assists. He has a sack. He has an interception. Okay. Well, now he's going to have some help with Jack Campbell, and they're going to start working together a lot more, get a lot more comfortable with each other. 2022, 125 combined, 48 assists, 1.5 sacks, an interception, and he had 4 yards off his interception. So now we start to see he's really ramping up and he's fitting into this team, this system, especially with Dan Campbell, who's, a guy, he's a Saints guy, used to play for the Saints. He likes guys like that. He knows what they're all about. Alex Anzalone comes over, fits the kind of Dan Campbell mold, like we like to say on this channel, and they start working really well together. Same with Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn and him worked really well together. And Aaron Glenn being gone is, he's gone, but Kelvin Shepard stepping up into the defensive coordinator position. We know he was the former linebacker coach, so they already have that really tight connection. I think it's a good situation. Over his career, he's compiled 395 tackles, 6.5 sacks here, 22 tackles for loss, and 2 interceptions over his 4 seasons with the Lions. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell and Kelvin Shepard, like we've already kind of talked about, all hold him in high regard, and it would be very, very surprising if they just let him go. They just let him walk, right? I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility, but it's definitely just going to be surprising if that's the case. After extending Joseph and looking to extend some players like Jamison Williams, Hutch, it's definitely going to be tricky giving him what he deserves or what he wants from us after he's had this great performance in the last 4 years. Because keeping the right pieces to continue being a contender while also paying the guys that deserve it's a tricky situation, and we're just going to have to see what this season holds, and we're going to have to see how negotiations go, and if he's willing to take maybe that little bit of a pay cut to keep being on a team that contends for a championship rather than going somewhere else and just getting his bag, right? Overall, I think Alex Anzalone is a very talented player. I had doubts about him when we first got him, just because of the limited production he had in his last year over New Orleans. But he really showed that he could be a rundown guy, a run blocker, a guy who's able to go back and grab the quarterback when he's trying to scramble. Right? He's been a really agile player, and I like him a lot. He's the Viking, got that long hair. He's got that funny clip of him. Was it Monday Night Football? Alex Anzalone, father of 3 or whatever he says. He's a he's a character, and he's got the grit to be on this team. He's shown that he likes to be here and he likes playing with these guys, and he just fits the mold. So it'd be a real shame to just see him walk. So hopefully we can get him that contract extension while also keeping our options open for next year. With that being said, we are going to move into our second topic. We are talking about the recap of TA's last season. Terion Arnold, we got him as a first round pick in the 2024 draft, and a little later, but he ended up being, I was really excited about this pick. I was at the draft in Detroit. I saw him get announced, and I was like, all right, cool. We got a secondary piece, Alabama guy, really, really good skills handling the ball and being able to read coverage. He's a man guy. Why not, right? I was really excited to see what he could do. And while he struggled with penalties early on in his rookie season, a lot of flags, a lot of holding calls, he showed significant growth and improvement throughout the year as it went on, right? Particularly in coverage and tackling. He started 15 out of the 16 games as a rookie cornerback, played a significant number of snaps, and proved his ability to handle tough assignments. A lot of the times we were throwing him on guys where it was like, you need to make sure this guy doesn't get the ball. He's going to be an issue this game, and we need you to step up and be that guy, right? Even though you're a rookie, even though you're not familiar with the NFL system, we need you to step up. You're a first-round pick. And he understood that that was part of it. So what are some of his strengths? He had a high snap count in that starting role, like we mentioned. He's got immediate trust into a starting lineup and played a high number of snaps. So the Lions absolutely have confidence in him. They know that he has the potential to be an elite, number one corner. He's good in run defense and tackling. He displayed strong tackling skills and a low missed tackle rate, showing his ability to contribute against the run as well. That's always good to have, having a corner who's able to, go tackle a corner or tackle a running back. If the linebacker, the defensive line can't plug it, he's able to go in and make an important tackle. He improved coverage as the season progressed. He had those early struggles, like we mentioned, but he shows improvement in man coverage, especially later down in the season against the Cowboys. He had a 4th and short situation where he was able to break up a pass and read the offense really well. It was cool to see that from him. I was like, okay, there we go, TA. Well, love to see it, man. And he's got high potential. That's the number one thing, right? He started as a rookie starter. So despite the ups and downs, his physical traits, confidence, and growth throughout the season points towards a promising future. Right? All he did was improve through the season. I was a little worried at first, but all he's done is improve. And he's known for that aggressive playing style. His willingness to tackle, to be physical, disrupt receivers at the line of scrimmage, right? He's a physical player, and he's a very dedicated player. You can see off the field on his socials and all that kind of stuff. He's never not trying to improve. So that's what I really like about him. He's a rookie who I'm constantly seeing get better, and he can only go up from here. Keep in mind that he's also playing one of the hardest positions, and he's a rookie starting. Corner is no easy task, and especially when you're going up against some of these like super top-rated receivers in the league, and we have a tough lineup coming up next year. He's getting a hard deal, but he's not discouraging himself, and he's just going out and being a dog. Plus, he's got some veteran players now to help him in this offseason, like DJ Reed. He's got a Meek to help him out. I'm excited to see what the second year will hold for Terion Arnold. I'm really confident that he's going to improve and that we're going to see a big jump in his skill and his bag this year. Less penalties, less of that stuff. That's the dust, like Dan Campbell says. We sweep that out. That is just dust and crap that we are just going to sweep out and improve for the next season and come back a more refined player. So I'm excited to see what he can do. And let's keep an eye on for the second year for Terion Arnold. All right, our third topic today, talking about one of the fan favorites here in Detroit on defense, Malcolm Rodrigo. So he got injured last season. He tore his ACL during the Thanksgiving game against the Bears. That was a tough one. He's one of those depth pieces, but he's one of those guys where I'm just like, no, not Rodrigo. Come on. He's a former 6th-round pick from 2022. He made 15 starts as a rookie and 9 total in the past 2 seasons. He's produced 151 tackles, 3 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles during his career, right? As a depth piece, pretty much. I think that's pretty good. His return timeline. So Coach Campbell has stated that Rodriguez is expected to return around November of this 2025 season, and that's just a conservative estimate. Tearing your ACL is no minor injury, and it's going to take time for him to get back to 100%. I really like him. I think, especially at our linebacker core, we got Jack Campbell, Analone, which hopefully we extend. But then we got him, and he's like this next guy who steps up and is kind of that, what's he doing out here player, gets a sack, makes a big play. And it's always cool when Malcolm Rodriguez makes a big play. I know me and my friends get excited. He's recovering from the surgery and rehabbing the injury during the recent OTAs, so he's still rehabbing that knee. And his impact, the injury will likely keep him out for the start of the season. But something to keep in mind is that we've added depth at the position because of this, right? We made a smart decision knowing that he's out. He's one of our big depth pieces. All right, well, we need more depth now. So what are some stuff we got? This is his final year of his contract too, so might have to look to give him a little contract as well if he comes back and can perform. But the Lions have added reinforcements at linebacker, signing Grant Stewart at the dawn of the free agency in March and Zach Cunningham late in May. So let's talk about Zach Cunningham real quick. His last season with Denver, he didn't do all that much. Again, depth piece. 7 games played, 4 total tackles, 2 assisted, 0 sacks, 0 forced fumbles, 0 interceptions. Before that, though, he started in 102 games. He had 86 starts. Total tackles, 709, 448 solo, 261 assisted. He had 6.5 sacks, 23 passes defended, 1 interception for a 38-yard return and a touchdown on defense, and 4 fumble recoveries. So he's not just a whatever, we're grabbing him just in case. He's potentially still a great player. He's a little older now. He's in his 30s, but he's one of these people. He was a second-round pick. He is a potential guy to come in if we have injuries and fill those gaps. Now we saw what happened when we didn't have guys to fill those gaps. So now we're looking to get those guys. I think Zach Cunningham could be a great piece. I'm not necessarily expecting him to do anything crazy this season, but he was a good add-on, and I'm excited that we're, finally adding depth to some of these positions that we saw we desperately needed last season. So, good depth guy. Hopefully Rodrigo comes back. He's, again, one of these Detroit fan favorites, Hard Knocks fan favorite, if you watched Hard Knocks. And it would be really upsetting to see him go out on an ACL tear and then have to go to a different team because of that contract being up. So, best wishes to Rodrigo, fast and speedy recovery, and I'm glad we have some of those depth pieces to add on to our team. Keep a lookout for those guys. Moving on to our final topic today. We have a live line on the sidelines. Okay, so this is obviously more of a jokey topic, and it's been discussed before and shut down before, but Dan Campbell has gone back to the NFL to suggest that he has the desire to have a live lion on the team sideline at Ford Field. He got rejected once by the NFL, and while Sheila Fordham initially approved the idea, the league has constantly disallowed it, citing potential safety concerns and other issues. Well, yeah, no kidding, safety concerns, right? But here, let's talk a little bit about it. The league prohibits live animals on the sideline with the exception of stuff like birds of prey, right? Seahawks have a bird, all that kind of stuff. And let's just talk about, let's hold on. Let's talk about some of the exceptions they have been making besides birds of prey. The Cleveland Browns have a dog. Hey, dog, right? Baltimore Ravens have a bird. The Denver Broncos have a horse. The Seattle Seahawks also have a bird. And then let's talk about college football. Not the same league rules or anything, but let's talk about college football. Georgia has a bulldog. LSU has Mike the Tiger. They got a tiger. Why can't we have a lion, right? Arkansas has a razorback, the Tusk. Texas has their bull. Texas A&M has Reveille. And South Carolina has Sir Big Spur. So, hey, just throwing that out there, NFL. They got their things. Why not let us have our thing, right? Just saying. And like I said, this is a less serious topic, but I think it's just worth noting how much of a personality Coach Campbell has. He embodies the energy of the team. He's truly changed the culture in Detroit. And just stuff like this just makes you laugh now because you can laugh about stuff like this. We're finally in a position where we're a little, we're finally getting good. And we can say, okay, this is funny. We can focus on funny stuff now if we want to. And I think having a lion on the sidelines is just the ultimate cherry on the top for this larger-than-life character, Coach Campbell. So with that being said, I don't have any expectation for a lion on the sideline. I don't think you should either. But if it would happen, it'd be pretty cool. Why not, right? It'd be pretty cool. But that's our time today here at Lions Latest. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave a comment. I like hearing what you guys say. Some of you guys have some really good opinions and are actually helping me learn a little bit more about the sport and what's going on, position players, what would be a better position player instead of the ones maybe I suggest, and I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much for all the commenting and the just the tips and tricks and all that kind of stuff. If you made it to this far in the video, tell me what you think about a live lion on the sideline. Good idea, bad idea? probably a bad idea, but let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.